And we're back. Before we left, Paimon had a little cliffhanger.
I did.
I'm really curious to know what this little mystery team is.
No, it was awesome. Dude. I was like R.L. Stein goosebumps all over here. It was excellent.
Say cheese and die, baby.
That was one of my favorites.
My favorite too!
It was awesome.
Every day's a new surprise with you, my friend.
It is. The one team that scares me, I mean, it doesn't really scare me. I think New England can really beat anybody right now. I don't want to be overconfident because I was in 07 and whoa, that sucked.
that game was just ridiculous.
They
must have banned a ref
if
or
that New England team plays that
shit.
Giants team 10 times, New England wins at least 8. At least 8.
I would even go and say 9.
Who catches the ball on top of their helmet, like inverted, arms like dislocated?
Ronnie Harrison's probably one of my favorite pitchers of all time.
Mm-hmm.
I want to slap him in the nuts for not knocking that ball out of David Tyree's hand.
What do you think, bro?
Like, what are you doing?
Come on now.
But the one team that scares me is Baltimore. And the only reason I say Baltimore is they played us very, very close the one time they played here last year, and they smoked us in the playoffs last year. It was awful. It was so bad. First play, the Ray Rice had that 80-yard touchdown, and it was like, shit. This year, they played us tough. We were down by 10 in the fourth. I think we've gotten a lot better since then. We've established Danny Woodhead now. That was Deion Branch's first game back. Him and Brady, they've always clicked for some weird reason, but they weren't in sync like they are now. Our tight ends are playing better now. I think our defense is playing unbelievably better.
Ellis.
Ellis
1,000-yard rusher, baby.
Ellis is great.
Nowhere.
I think that we have a lot more things that Baltimore needs to be afraid of, but I see them giving us a harder time than Pittsburgh. For some reason, we match up so well against Pittsburgh.
Oh, absolutely. Every year, dude.
Every year. I mean, everybody says close game, close game. We always win by like 10 or more. I mean, look at the last like 5-6 meetings. There was one year where they beat us, and then the Castle year I just completely wiped out from memory. It doesn't count.
That year as a whole just never happened.
Yeah, it was no football for a year.
It's like the Fab Five in Michigan.
Right.
They never existed.
Right. But I don't see Indy giving us too much problem. I mean, again, we'll probably win that game by like 3-10. Depending on the weather, it might be more. Jets, I just think we'll walk all over them. Kansas City, if we can stop the run, Castle can't beat us with his
absolutely
arm.
not.
They're the one team that kind of, Baltimore's the one team that kind of scares me. Flacco's so inconsistent.
Yeah, the thing with Baltimore, too, kind of just tag on to is I feel like from the gate, like from the start, they've been underrated.
Yeah.
And I thought they have a better defense, I think, than the Jets. They had a better fucking offense if you had, Derek Mason with Anquan Bolden and even TJ Hushmanzada. I mean,
Who's your mama?
Who's your mama? That's a dangerous team. And
Yeah.
if they get hot, they're going to be tough to beat.
I agree. The only thing that I'd be worried about if I was Baltimore, their defense got really, really exposed in that Texans game.
Oh, yeah.
Like, that second half, I've never seen somebody just go up and down on them. Like,
They're lucky they won that game.
it was unbelievable. Like, they got so lucky they won that game. They should have never lost the game to Pittsburgh. Cam Cameron called the dumbest, 2 minutes of offense at the end of a game I've ever seen.
That was a horrible throw.
He passed the ball 2 out of 3, and then, the third one, he just, fumbled. Polamalu just swarmed him.
Oh, my
And it was just
God.
like, what do you think? Just run the ball. Baltimore, confuses me a little bit. Who do you think, if the Patriots are fortunate enough to get through the AFC, who do they play in the Super Bowl?
I think I'm going to go with the Eagles, I think.
Eagles.
I say the Eagles because I think out of all the teams in the NFC, they didn't give us the most trouble because you have Vic, who can run like a motherfucker. Deshaun Jackson was probably the fastest wide receiver in the league, give or take. They have
Mike Wallace is close.
Mike Wallace is wicked fast, too. They have a great running back. I can't think of his name.
LaShawn McCoy.
McCoy, I was close.
Yep.
They just have Jeremy Maclin's a fast guy. They just have a lot of speed.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I think they're going to give us a lot of trouble. I'd like to see either them or the Falcons, personally.
Eagles don't really scare me too much because Patriots have always shut down running quarterbacks.
Yeah.
When they used to play Steve McNair, I know he wasn't as much of a runner once we played him, but he still could move.
Mm-hmm.
Vince Young, we shut down the 2 times we played him. Vic, I remember we played him, before when he was in Atlanta, and
He's a better thrower now, though.
he is. He's a much better thrower. I don't know. I mean, he
I think
must
it's
have
going
been.
to cause us more problems. So you have to prepare for him to run, but now he can actually hit a wide open receiver 10 yards on the field.
He must have been doing throwing warm ups while he was in locked up. But the one team that I think it's actually 2 teams. Atlanta, I think we can handle because I think we just match up so well against them.
Yeah.
The 2 teams that kind of scare me in the NFC is the Saints, and it's just everything I think about goes back to that Monday night whooping that we took against them.
Yeah, well, they're a different team. The ball's not falling everywhere
Yeah.
like they used to.
And then the other team for me is Green Bay. Green Bay came in here and almost beat us with Matt Flynn.
I think it's because we underestimated them, though. I think if we went in
I agree and
played
disagree.
them the way that
I agree and
should have
disagree.
played.
I agree and disagree. I agree we totally underestimated them.
Mm-hmm.
I disagree because I think Aaron Rodgers is, aside from Tom Brady, in my opinion, this year, I think he's better than Manning.
I agree.
I think he's better than Rivers.
Without a doubt.
I think to me, he's the second best quarterback in the league.
Absolutely.
He can pick apart a defense. And their defense is unbelievable with Clay Matthews, who is the coolest dude ever. Like,
AJ Hawk.
he's the
Killing
AJ
people.
Hawk who's just smushing Brady Quinn's sister by the hour. It's just
Brady
like,
Quinn's crying on the bench somewhere in Denver.
right? But yeah, I really hope they make the Super Bowl. There's so many good matchups that there could be this year. Let's switch gears. What else is going on in the world? What's griping you? We're not slapping anybody yet. That's about 8 minutes
One
away.
that's driving me is, you just told me this about 20 minutes ago. Marvin Lewis signed an extension.
After
Are
going
you
4 and 12.
kidding me?
After going 4 and 12.
Dude, today's Tuesday. Sunday, everyone was like, this is his last game in Cleveland.
Yep.
Not Cleveland, Cincinnati.
Might as well be Cleveland.
Might as well, right? He's going to go out the door. He doesn't like the way the team's being run. There's no way he's coming back, blah, blah, blah. You sign him to an extension?
It's absurd.
4 and 12 this season. He's been there, this is his 8th year, I believe,
Eighth year,
right?
yeah.
2 winning seasons.
Yeah, I think his overall
Dose.
record they said 61, 69, and 1.
Dose, as our friends of the South would say. 2.
They would.
2.
How do you say dose in French or Canadian?
French is un, deux.
Okay, so that's what our neighbors to the north would
I
say.
learned that from Muzzy. Remember those commercials?
No.
Muzzy English. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
I don't know what the hell you're watching.
Anyways, so that kills me. 2 winning records, dude. Carson Palmer is going to ruin his career by saying that. I hope he demands a trade.
I think they were talking like they were going to like release Palmer, which I kind of hope they do for his sake.
I hope they do now.
There's so many teams that could use a quarterback.
Absolutely.
San Francisco,
Seahawks.
Seattle, pretty much the NFC West, except for St.
Everyone
Louis.
in the NFC West.
Except for St. Louis. Arizona for sure.
That was a good call, though, letting go Matt Leonard. Really good
Yeah,
call.
that was genius.
How's that going for you?
Buffalo.
Yeah.
There's so many teams that could use a quarterback. And Carson Palmer, like two of his best games this year was when you got the headaches, T.O. and
Absolutely.
Chad. T.O. had great numbers this year. He put up 1,000 yards and 9 touchdowns. Like, that's awesome.
If they bring anyone of those two back, I hope they bring him back.
Yeah.
He's still a productive wide receiver.
Chad's a
Chad
pain in the
Ochocinco
ass.
hasn't had a good year in probably 4 years.
I'm going to be honest with you. If Chad doesn't resign, he ends up in New England next year.
You think so?
I promise you.
I hope not.
No, but he'll play his ass off once he gets here because all he's wanted to do is be on a winning team.
Yeah.
And he's gone out and said so many times like how much he like loves and respects Bill
Yeah.
Belichick. And for some reason, Belichick like loves
Yeah, Belichick loves
Chad.
Chad.
Like there's videos online of them just like shooting the shit with each other on the field, like laughing. It's awesome. I think Chad would be great here.
I think you would only. Sorry to interrupt you.
I wouldn't make him the number one.
Not the number one, and not if doing what they did with Randy Moss.
No.
Making him the primary target every time.
Not a chance.
Just do what they have him be like a decoy someplace, but don't let the offense revolve around him. What happens every time, 2007, right? Every time they shut down Randy Moss, especially in the playoffs.
You're
They still
screwed.
won, obviously, but it wasn't, they weren't moving the ball at all. What
Yeah.
happens now that he's gone? Deion Branch running slants, Edelman's just killing it last game. Wes Welker's being Wes Welker. I mean,
Do we have a number one receiver right now?
I don't think we do. I think
don't
it's
think so
like won by committee.
Yeah.
Who wants the ball right now? You're the
Yeah.
number one.
Have you heard anything on Woodhead? Is he going to be good for the playoffs?
I hope
I
so.
heard he got a concussion.
I love DW.
It's good that they have 2 weeks off.
Yeah,
And that
absolutely.
helps him for sure.
I think he'll be back.
But I mean, the hits that he took. I mean, yeah, concussion nothing to be made light of, but they weren't as bad as the ones that like Austin Collie took from Indy, and he was back in 2 weeks.
Rogers too is back in 2 weeks.
Yeah. So and he had 2 this year.
Yeah.
So I mean, hopefully Woodhead's back because he's such a cool threat. You know what I
really
mean?
is,
Like
dude.
he can run, he can pass, he can.
He's like a better Kevin Falk.
I wouldn't say better. I say he's a.
He's
younger
gonna be the
Kevin.
next Kevin Falk.
He is the next Kevin.
Kevin
Falk.
Falk like pieces out probably
Yeah.
after this year.
Yeah. Well, I think Falk will be back. I don't think he's gonna end his career like that because he wants to retire a Patriot.
Yeah.
And I think, like, out of sheer respect for the Patriots and, the Patriots' respect for Falk, they'll bring him back next year. He won't have a role like he did going into this year, but he'll retire a Patriot for sure. I mean, what's griping me in the world
I'm ready.
is the Miami Heat.
Fuck the Miami Heat.
Exactly. They have this win streak going that everybody's so fired up about. Like, sweet, the Heat are
I
on
have another
fire.
one after you too.
They've
Never mind.
beaten the Bucks, the Grizzlies, the Hawks without Joe Johnson, who's their best player. I think they beat Orlando, which is like
slumping
one of their
Lakers team.
a slumping Lakers team who just got slaughtered by the Grizzlies at home by like 20. They haven't beaten anybody.
Right.
They're in a weak division. Aside from Orlando, who the hell's in that division?
Nobody, I don't think.
Nobody.
Charlotte.
I mean, the Wizards are in that division, right? Wizards suck.
Forgot they were even a team. Until you just said that.
I mean, like, they're just awful. I'd love to see them. The 2 times they've played the Celtics this year, they've gotten killed. I think they've lost to Chicago, and I mean, it's just they don't impress me. But they're always the first highlight on ESPN. So, do you see Stanford last night? Their marching band.
This is what I was just gonna say.
Yep. I'll let you take it because it's the dumbest thing I've ever heard.
Stanford was gonna have like a, how do you want to describe it? Like a
marching band like ceremony, like a
but they had like it was like themed.
Events
This
in
year
Miami.
of sports, yeah, and shit like that. Events in Miami or whatever. And they couldn't do it because it might hurt LeBron James's feelings.
LeBron James went from one of my absolute favorite athletes. Like I love that guy. I mean, he
Me
was
too.
on TV. I'm watching. It's
Hell
like
yeah.
the coolest thing ever. His interviews were hilarious. His commercials I loved. I can't stand the guy now.
He's a fucking asshole.
Like-
prima donna asshole.
I never thought he was like this. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, I remember people were always like, "Oh, he's the next Jordan." He's nothing like Jordan. You kidding me?
Jordan stayed in Chicago. The years they
I
didn't
showed
win
you
the
that like
championship.
makeshift commercial,
Yeah.
right?
It was
Unbelievable.
amazing.
Unbelievable.
It fits so perfectly.
It's just I can't stand the Heat right now. I cannot wait for them to get in the playoffs. They'll shoot through the first round like nothing, but in the second round, and when they're matched up with Orlando, Boston, Chicago,
Dude, 7 games, like those 3 teams are gonna pick them apart. Teams
Yeah.
that have actually been together
they're gonna
longer
get
than 10
killed.
minutes,
They're gonna get killed.
actually have set plays and a good defense. It's like you said earlier. What was it? Yesterday's game, the big 3 scored. What do you say? 90 points. or
80
something?
of their
80 of their
96.
96 points. Stop one of the big 3 and you win.
Yeah,
Bosch sucked. Stop him. Throw
Only-
KG at him.
Bosch
It's
went like
over.
4 of 13 for 11 points. It's like you suck, dude.
Fuck out of here.
It's like you have no purpose, and they are hating that contract. It's killing them.
Just what did he think? You know what I mean?
The other big thing that's happened is the Red Sox have gotten absurdly better.
Can we talk about this for a minute?
That's why I hit this because I know we have our
Magical.
slaps coming up.
Magical.
They added Gonzalez and Crawford, which are like they were the 2 marquee free agents. Well,
Gonzalez
Crawford
is a
free
free
agent.
agent,
We've been talking about getting Gonzalez for like 3 years now. It
Oh,
seems.
yeah.
And finally, it happened. They have to get that extension with him. They have to.
Oh, I
lock
heard
him
they're
up.
going to. I heard they're waiting because it saves them money if they sign it after the season.
If
But
I'm
it's
him and
already
I know that,
in
I'm not
place.
signing it. I'm like, screw you.
I guess he already has it in place, dude.
No, but I think that it's going to be a sweet season. The Phillies got so much better. Their rotation is going to be. I mean, they're going to win 100 games easy.
Oh yeah.
I think the Red Sox are going to win 100 games.
If Beckett and Lackey pitch the way that they should be pitching, then absolutely.
I'm predicting a huge year for Beckett.
I hope so.
20 wins. I think Lester is going to be up around 18, 19. Lackey, I'll be content with 14, 15. Dice K, I'd be content if he just got injured all year. You know? But their,
But Dubron pitch for him.
right, their lineup is great.
Oh my god.
Buchholz, I mean, showed signs of ace material last year.
Dude, if Lester doesn't suck in April like he's done the past 2 years, he's
Oh,
gonna
he
win the Cy
will.
Young.
He will. His first 8 starts,
That's
you'll
what
want to kill
kills him.
yourself.
That's what kills him is
His
April.
first 8 starts, you'll want to kill yourself. But yeah, I mean, fun show, man. We
Love
have
it.
one thing left.
Love it.
We got a minute and a half. Who you smacking?
Oh, you go first. I'm still.
Me go first?
Yes.
I want to smack. I love Jersey Shore like crazy. I mean, that's my show. I like do nothing. I can't wait for Thursday. It comes back.
Yeah.
I want to slap the shit out of Snooki.
Oh, I was gonna say that, dude.
It's-
He's killing me.
I mean, this girl. I didn't even know this till like 3 days before, but she dropped from a ball for New Year's Eve.
I was really praying that the ball would explode and she would die.
It was like a 4-foot drop, man. And it was indoors. It's like, come on.
Get out of here. Plays decision all over
My
the.
God. Go ahead, buddy.
Can I do Snooki as well? Because that's
Yeah.
another reason why I hate her.
Well, we can each other at the same time.
I love Jersey Shore. You know,
It's our show.
and Snooki. I found this out a couple days ago. She wrote a book.
Oh, yeah.
A book.
Oh, yeah.
I was reading the review about it because I'm a big Entertainment Weekly reader. Love that magazine. It's awesome. You look like you're about to call me gay, but that's okay.
No,
It's
I'm
a
not.
Magical magazine.
No.
Anyways, so they have the thing. It's about like someone named like Tukey or some random
Yeah,
name.
she
It's
made fictional
essentially-
characters.
Fictional characters about her fucking life.
Yeah.
It's like going to the shore and doing like all this shit.
Yeah, she was
basically
on Lemon
your
last
life.
night, and she
It's
was
right
like,
out
"Oh,
about
it's
it,
fictional
dude."
characters like one's me, one's Jenny, and these are events that like never happened." And the other one's like, "BS, they never happened."
You people like you make the world a dumber place. Okay, that's all I can say.
We're wrapping
Jesus
it up.
Christ.
It was so good to get back on the air.
It was nice.
We're gonna have this up. Arya, who produces this, has a new website, so I think we're gonna put this on
Excited.
YouTube and the new website. We'll give you all the details for that. Thanks for sticking with us, and we'll see you guys next week.
Later, guys.